Welcome to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, building experiences that connect, remove friction, and deliver insights. Well, hi everyone, and welcome to our podcast. I'm Ed Kless, and with me today is Paul Saganey. Paul is the author of the upcoming book, Optimizing the Financial Lives of Clients, Harness the Power of an Accounting Firm's Elite Wealth Management Practice. Welcome back to the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast, Paul.
Ed, thank you so much. It's great to see you again.
Well, first off, Paul, tell us about your book.
Well, great question. I love that. So I know how you love to ask that question. Tell us why you do what you do. And so, for us, I wrote this book together with a gentleman named Russ Allen Prince and a gentleman who runs our business owner solutions team. His name is Homer Smith. And so for us, Ed, we've got over 25 years of working with accounting firms, especially mid-sized to large accounting firms. Currently, our firm, Integrated Partners, we work with about 160 accounting firms around the country. So we just want to take our collective experience, put a book together. Each of the three of us took kind of a different section of the book, if you will. And so, we're thrilled to send it out there. And once again, allow the managing directors of accounting firms that either have a wealth management solution with their practice or looking to do it, kind of give the blueprint that we have built over the last 25 years.
And why this book, and why now specifically? What was the driving force behind it?
Boy, that's a good one. We are finding inside of our existing accounting firms that the desire to bring financial planning expertise to the accountant's wealthiest clients, not only in terms of wealth, but also the clients that have the most complex financial lives, we are seeing that the desire to bring what we call elite wealth management has never been greater. I think if you know the financial planning industry, what's going on now is that financial advisors who have been in this industry for 25, 30 years are now retiring. So the ones that bring a lot of experience to the table are retiring. There's another large group of financial advisors who want to specialize strictly on managing wealth, and that's their mission with their practice. But for us, it's around doing financial plans and charging for doing financial plans to, once again, those clients that have significant wealth and complex financial lives. And so we're just seeing the need, the desire to bring that wealth management expertise to those particular clients. And we have never seen it busier than it's been the last couple of years.
So this is really in addition to the financial planning. It's not just the financial planning aspect of it. Go into a little bit more depth on that.
Yeah, so for us, certainly it's about, we call it our 4 core principles. So it's leading with the client's best interests in mind. And so when you meet with a client that has significant wealth or they've got, say, that complex financial life, it's about going into discovery and understanding what is important to them and what is causing them some level of concern. And so sometimes our teams, along with external teams, will come in and solve maybe one problem they're faced with, or sometimes we'll come in and do all of the work, maybe redo the financial plan from square one. But for us, our 4 key principles are, getting in there and acting in the client's best interest, doing discovery and find out what's important to them, bring that exceptional value. Ed, quite honestly, we're seeing a new trend also. We've got our own internal family office. And so many times meeting the client's expectations is not so much just doing their financial plan, but how will you service me? How will you help my children and grandchildren prepare for the wealth they will someday inherit? And so we call that our exceptional value principle. We want to make sure once we understand the goals and objectives, can we meet those? We also want to keep that CPA heavily involved. And so it's not where you just simply send a referral in the door and walk away from it. If you're in a CPA listening to this call, it's how do we get you involved? What role do you play? And so once again, these are your wealthiest clients, probably the ones that bring in the most revenue to your firm. From an accounting standpoint, how can we replicate that on the financial planning side? And then the last big core principle, the big why, is, we've seen this with so many of our firms, especially the ones that are the most successful, is how do you make elite wealth management part of the culture of your firm? In other words, it shouldn't just be something down the hall or something you think about once in a while. With the success that we are having, Ed, with the fact that we're helping accounting firms build a division of their accounting practice that can be sold someday for very high multiples. The financial planning world is really seeing some acceleration in terms of their multiples and what they can be sold for. So it's truly working with firms that want to make this an embedded part of their culture, not just kind of something that's down the hall that we, touch once in a while, really making it part of what they do every single day.
And it would seem that the mindset has to be beyond even just transactional, as traditional accountants have looked at it, and even beyond relational, but more transformational, a series of, let's call it, recurring transformations that take place in that the person that you're serving.
No doubt. And I think not only meeting their expectations and understanding and solving their greatest problems, but yeah, I think as we think of our existing accounting firms and as fee-based planners, we are typically paid some kind of a fee-based retainer for the work that we do. And so not typically transactionally based, but certainly based on charging fees, full disclosure, no mysteries, no surprises. That's what we really pride ourselves on.
Yeah, what I've noticed recently, there's a difference between recurring revenue and reoccurring revenue for a CPA firm. And what you sound like you're trying to transfer this into more recurring revenue, not reoccurring where we have to go through a process every year, but more, hey, this just stays on long term.
I might steal that line, by the way. That's a great line. But yeah, that's exactly right. That is what we have is reoccurring revenue. And so a client knows what they are paying us in advance. They know the value they're getting for that particular fee. We also run a program we call validating our fee. And so once again, we want that client to know every single quarter, what have we accomplished? What do we still have left to do? And so I love to use that line. We want to make sure that the future you see for your family and your finances is more exciting than the past. And so to do that, we live in the world of reoccurring revenue. And I think, Ed, that's why, maybe for another podcast, why you're seeing for many of our accounting firms, what we have helped them build for a wealth management division of their accounting firm is actually worth more when they go to sell it than the actual accounting firm itself. And I think it's that concept of reoccurring revenue, strong client retention. It's really something which, when the accountant does decide to sell that division, is extremely marketable.
And Paul, we have an exit question that we ask all of our guests, even if they're on more than once, and you as a recidivist guest come back again. And that is, who is a hero of yours and why are they a hero?
Oh, goodness. Well, certainly, a lot of people were involved in putting this book together. So I'm going to give you a group of heroes. My fellow colleagues who wrote the book, Russ Allen Prince and Homer Smith. Andre Moore, who was really involved behind the scenes in helping us stay organized, put this whole thing together. So if it's okay, because it is book launch time, I'd like to make my heroes the people who collaborated to help us make this a reality. It was truly, I hate that term, labor of love, but for us, each person had their role. And we think we've really produced something that we are very proud of and proud to send out there to the community. So I'll make those my heroes if I could. All
right. And lastly, Paul, how can somebody contact you?
So I am at Paul.Saganey at integrated-partners.com. I've got one of those names with Paul Saganey. If you just Google that name, there's no one else who has that name. So you're going to get a ton of information about me and directly sent to our website where my email address is there as well. So you can also visit me at integrated-partners.com for the website.
All right. The book is Optimizing the Financial Lives of Clients, Harness the Power of an Accounting Firm's Elite Wealth Management Practice. Thanks so much, Paul Saganey, for being a guest on the Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.
Ed, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Review and subscribe by searching your podcast player of choice for Sage Thought Leadership Podcast.